Hey, what's up, everybody? This is April over at the Resellers Learning Curve. And the video that I'm shooting tonight is by request, partially. And it's partially because this is probably the thing that gets discussed, talked about the most over in my Facebook group. It's a question that's going to plague everyone that's a new seller on eBay, new sellers, old sellers. We all have to deal with shipping. So this video tonight is about shipping. I'm not going to tell you it's a definitive guide to shipping. You guys know me by now. I do not claim to be the foremost expert, but I am going to share with you what I know about shipping. And before I do that, I will say this. There is a lady who used to work at the branch post office in the town where I used to live, Boardman. I'm always talking about Boardman, who got transferred down to the main branch downtown, which is pretty much where I'm at now. And this, I'll never forget this because I never take my own packages to the post office. Rarely. People that help me out will oftentimes drop those off as they're going by. So rarely do I take my own packages to the post office. But one day, for whatever reason, I took them, and for some reason, I went inside. I believe it was during one of those periods where I wanted to get like a scan receipt every time I drop packages off. That never lasts, but maybe it was during one of those periods. So this lady who I've known for years, because she's worked at a couple of post offices where I frequent, said to me, "You are really good." And I was a little caught off guard. I'm like, huh? She's like, "You are really good. Like, you know how to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to shipping." So I will say that on the authority of at least one Youngstown area postal worker, I know something about shipping. So I'm going to try to share that with you guys today, and I hope it's helpful. So the first thing I want to go over are tools that I use for shipping before we get into the actual supplies. So I unplugged this even though I'm not 100% prepared for this video. I just knocked something in the trash. Okay, I found it. This is the shipping scale that I use. I'm going to show you guys. It is a smart weight scale. It actually, the power adapter goes here. This is where the display connects to the actual base unit. I got this scale 2-3 years ago, probably 3 years ago at this point. It was when I was first getting heavy into Amazon. And the thing that's nicest about this scale is the fact that the display is detached. So if you have a big box that's gonna like really hang off every side of the scale, you'll still be able to get your weight. So that's why I use the smart weight scale. Sometimes I have to like take the top off like you just saw me do and put it back on to kind of, I'm not gonna say recalibrate because that's not what it does. But it allows it not to be like negative. Sometimes it gets a little wonky and I have to reset it. But for the past 3 years, the smart weight scale has been pretty reliable for me. I haven't had issues where my packages are way off. So that's what I use as far as the scale. I encourage you to get a postal scale if you don't have one, because when it comes to weight of items, you don't want to be playing games. You can lose a lot of money that way. The second tool that I use all the time is I have and this is an older model, the Dymo Label Writer 450. My helper assistant has a 400 model that I found at Goodwill for like $5-10, and that still works. It prints exactly the same labels as this one. I use this to print labels for both eBay items as well as for Amazon items. I have to change the labels. They're slightly different, but I use this printer for all shipping labels. I also have I think it's a LaserJet. I have some type of Brother printer down here. You guys, if you've asked this question, you know the printer that I'm talking about. It's one of those workhorse printers that honestly, I've never put ink in it, and I've had it for 3 years. I have never, ever put ink in my Brother printer, and I've had it for 3 years. So I still have the sample manufacturer toner that it came with, and I've never had to replace it. So if you're looking for like a cheaper solution that's going to be really reliable for you, look into these Brother printers. They're workhorses. They're just workhorses. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys that you're going to need to make your shipping life a little easier. And as you can see, I'm reaching all around for stuff. Like, I don't have a shipping station. I'm not an overly organized person. So my things are where they are. And more often than not, I know where they are. Not all the time. But you're going to need a tape gun. And make sure you get a good tape gun. You want to play with it. You want to like test it out. You want to make sure that you can work with it, because someone gave me a tape gun once, and every time I used it and the tape would get stuck to it or it would malfunction in some other way, I would curse that person. I would curse them in my head, and sometimes I would curse them aloud. And I think over time I became very resentful, and it was because they gave me a crappy tape gun, and ain't nobody got time for crappy tape guns. So get you a good tape gun so you can go across those boxes and keep it pushing. The next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm not going to really get into it because at the very end, the last box I show you guys, I'm going to show you like kind of how it works. But what we talked about in my group recently, box resizer. I know I mentioned this in my group. I was asking if anyone else uses them because I love this thing, and I'll tell you why later. But this is a box resizer. From what I've seen, they all have pretty much the same construction, pretty much the same idea, but they make life a lot easier. Yeah, you can use a ruler and a razor blade and pretty much accomplish the same thing, because this has the little like knotted blade. I don't know what you call that, blade with teeth, and it just runs across the box. And then you have a perforated fold line, and you fold it, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. So moving on, because I don't want this video to take all day and 4 years, but I do want to get through some things. The first thing that I wanted to talk about are the supplies that I use from eBay. Usually when I get my store coupon every quarter, I have fun with it. I really do, because the vast majority of the supplies that I use on a regular basis, I get those free from the United States Postal Service. So I don't need a ton of boxes from eBay because I don't sell things that require a ton of boxes. So I have a little bit of fun with my eBay coupon. As such, one of the things that I like to get are these. And I've only had to get them once because I use these to ship first class packages in, things that don't go priority. I have very, very, very few listings that are first class. Usually if they are, that's because I found an identical item on eBay and did sell similar, and that person used first class, or the buyer has asked me specifically if they can save a few bucks by me not shipping priority, so I'll use these to ship first class. They're padded, they're pretty cool. They're a little bit smaller than the United States Postal Service padded flat rate mailers, so you can see the difference here, but just barely, just a little bit smaller. While I have this in my hand, this is the #1 thing that I use for shipping in my business. The absolute #1 item. This is a padded flat rate mailer. You don't have to pay for these. You can get these for free at USPS.com. I encourage you, when you set up your account, write down your password. Why would I say something crazy like that? Well, I'm saying that because I have probably 4 or 5 USPS accounts, because for whatever reason I can never remember the password. But these are free. About these, so you order them from the United States Postal Service. You are allowed in an order, you can get packs of 15, and you can get 6 of those packs, which is about 90. It should be 90, but I'm gonna tell you something about the United States Postal Service. You don't pay for these supplies. So this time of year, especially this time of year, you get what they send you. You get what they send you. Like, you might order 90 and you might get like 24. And you're going to be like, that's a random number. But what they have is what they'll send you. I encourage you to kind of figure out how many of these you use in your business. And when you notice that they're starting to get low, make sure to kind of set a reminder to yourself on your phone or something to order padded flat rate envelopes. I can tell you that when I run out of these, my business gets really, I start losing money on shipping. When I run out of these, I'm losing money, and I never like to lose money. That doesn't make me happy. Another thing that I will buy with my eBay coupon is eBay tissue paper. I use this to wrap clothing that's not already in a plastic bag. Sometimes I will wrap this over a plastic bag depending on the mood I am in on that day. Sometimes I use it as packing material depending on what I'm sending. I've been selling some small, very small 4-piece dish sets recently, and they come in the box and they're packed pretty securely, but I'll just throw a sheet of eBay tissue paper around each dish to provide extra padding, extra security. The buyer will see that you took the time to actually make sure that it gets to them safely, and they're going to appreciate that. So I use the eBay tissue paper for a lot of things. I use it to wrap items in. I'm a little bit of a girly girl in that sense, because I am in Facebook groups where this subject comes up and the dudes are like, why would you need tissue paper? And we've even talked about that on the resellers too. Like, we need tissue paper because we're girls and we want our packages to be pretty when they get there. So I always buy the eBay tissue paper. And actually, I still have some of the winter from last year, and I still have some of the green from whenever eBay had the green tissue paper. I wanted to also show you guys the box that the padded flat rate mailers will come in. If you order all that you can order, I think this does hold about, does it tell me? This holds about 100. So they'll probably pull one of these boxes, take 10 out, and just ship this. This is an awesome box to keep. So when you order your padded flat rate envelopes, make sure that you cut the tape, break this down, store it somewhere handy, because especially if you do Amazon, that's the first use I found for these. They made excellent Amazon boxes. They're just a good size. But there are other things that I send, sometimes like crafting supplies. I mailed out a couple of really large latch hook sets last week, and I'm talking about these things that came up to here. They were big, and this was awesome for that. There's just a lot of items that I sell that this box is the perfect size box for. So when you order your padded flat rate envelopes, make sure to keep the box because it comes in handy. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and I actually have a cheat sheet here because this is where it can get a little wonky for folks, are the flat rate versus the region boxes, because this is the subject that comes up all the time. Now, I was trying to do a little bit of research before I shot this video because I didn't want to completely be flying by the seat of my pants. And I don't know if stamps.com has incorrect information about the size of the region boxes, or, which I think is more likely, or USPS actually slightly decreased the sizes of their region boxes. But both the websites have completely different measurements for what those are. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys. And to start, I'm going to give you a comparison of this is a medium flat rate box. This is a medium flat rate box. And these that open this way, these are considered top loading. So a medium flat rate box top loading is 11 inches by 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. A region B top loading box is 12 inches by 10.25 inches by 5 inches. So if you think about that, the medium flat rate box is actually a little bit smaller. It's actually smaller than the region B box. So depending on what you're sending and where you're sending it to, there are a lot of times when a region box, this is a region region box can be a lot cheaper for you than a flat rate box. I don't have the flat rate boxes on hand. It's really funny that I say this because I don't keep them on hand. I know, hold on, because I did some research. Like I said, I did my homework beforehand. The medium flat rate box costs $12.05 to send. And that's with my eBay discount. So before the discount, it's $13.60 to send a box of this size. $13.60. That's insanity. A large flat rate box costs $18.85. With my eBay discount, it's $16.55, which is crazy. That's really crazy. So the large flat rate box is 12 inches by 12 inches by 5.5. So once again, I'm going to remind you that the region B top loading box is 12 inches by 10 inches by 5 inches. So it's only 2 inches shorter than a large flat rate box. 2 inches. That's not going to make much of a difference anywhere. So I encourage you to learn how to use your flat rate boxes. I actually have the chart up here, so I'm going to pull that up so I can tell you guys the rates of using these, because that's a large part of the reason that I wanted to do this video, is so I could break down the region boxes, because for whatever reason they seem to be a mystery to everyone. Before I get into the region, I wanted to say with my eBay discount, this padded flat rate mailer is $6.30 to send. I send probably 70% of the clothing items that I sell in a flat rate mailer, and that costs me $6.30. If you charge calculated shipping, sometimes the buyer might have to pay a little bit more, but it's a flat rate mailer, so it's always going to cost you $6.30 if that's the discount level you're at. I don't know how that works with eBay. So a Region A box, which just as a refresher is pretty similar to a medium flat rate box. It's a little bit smaller. It's about 1 inch by 1 inch, and that's actually, yeah, it's about 1 inch all around smaller. So a Region A box, which is just a tiny bit smaller than the medium flat rate box, if you're shipping to zones 1 and 2, you say, what is zones 1 and 2? Woman, now what are you talking about? Zones. So think about it this way. Wherever you are in the country, the places right around you, that's going to be zone 1. You go out a little bit, zone 2. A little bit farther, zone 3. It seems to me that there's 9 zones. There's 9 zones, but it starts from where you are. That's how zones are calculated. So to ship this to zones 1 and 2, and I will tell you that so many, probably over half of my orders go to zones 1 and 2 for me. They go to New York. They go to Maine. They go somewhere on the East Coast. This costs $6.52, and that's the retail rate. So my eBay rate, I actually don't know it, because what I took down is more than that, and I don't think it went up. So yeah, this is about $6, and we'll just say $6.50. So you can send a box for the same amount as you can pretty much send a padded flat rate envelope. But here's what's notable about that. You want to use the padded flat rate envelopes for things that can comfortably fit in them. Shirts, neckties, maybe a pair of ballet flats, a pair of cotton pants, a pair of not super thick jeans. Anything that can comfortably fit in a padded flat rate envelope is fair game. I think all of us have moments and have times where we force it. We're like really stuffing things in those padded flat rate envelopes that shouldn't be in there. And as long as that's the exception and not the rule, I'll allow it. I'm not the boss of these things, but I'll allow it. But just as a matter of course, if you're going to ship a blazer, a sport coat, a shorter pair of shoes, I always encourage people to try to use the region boxes, just because they don't cost that much more than a padded flat rate envelope if they're not going across the country. If something's going clear across the country, in that case, the medium flat rate box, or maybe even a large flat rate box, might be your first option. And I'm going to tell you why. So we have zones. Zones 1 and 2, the Region A box is going to cost us $6.52. A Region B box is going to cost $7.17. And the Region B boxes are big. Like I said, they are almost as bigger than the large flat rate box. Yeah, they're almost as big as the large flat rate box. This is a Region B. I can fit, I almost don't want to say this. I fit 3 suits in one of these recently. 3 suits, jackets, and pants. 3 of them in a Region B box. These things are huge. And if you get down how you fold your items, and like I said, I use the tissue paper for almost everything. So I have a method that I use to fold items and like get them in the box, and I can configure suits in such a way because I've been doing it for a while. But yeah, you can fit a ton of stuff in this Region B box, which is, once again, not that much smaller than a large flat rate. If you're shipping across the country, say I'm in New York and I'm shipping to California, this is out. This is so out. You cannot use the Region B box because it would cost you $28.72. These prices are not exact. This is stamps.com. I know they're way off, but it's close enough that you get the idea. $28.72 to ship this from New York to California because you're going essentially from zone 1 to zone 9, whereas you could ship a large flat rate box, which is a tiny bit bigger, for $18.85. And I'm pretty sure that that's like the retail rate or slightly discounted. If you are an eBay seller and you have a shipping discount, I can ship a large flat rate box for $16.55. So if I had something that would fit in either this or a large flat rate and it's going to California, I'm going to use a large flat rate. But if I have something that can fit in either and it's going to Pennsylvania from Ohio, I'm going to use the Region B, because in that case, the Region B is going to cost me $7, whereas a large flat rate will cost me almost $17. So I can save $10 by using a Region box. That's huge, huge. And this is probably the area where all of us could use some improvement. But if you're new and you just really don't know, this can save you a ton of money and really start to increase your margins on a large scale. You'll make more money because you're paying less for shipping. I do calculated shipping, so there are a lot of times that my buyers will pay a couple of bucks more than I pay because they're paying calculated. I put in the weight of the item. It happens to fit in the padded flat rate envelope. Off it goes for $6.30. They may pay $8. Oh well, that's just how it goes. All of these USPS supplies are free on USPS.com. So I just want to point that out. I don't pay for post office supplies. These are free. This is another box that I use often. This is the United States Postal Service. They have like a priority mail shoebox. I like it. Some people don't use it. As you can see, it looks a ton like a shoebox. I don't think many pairs of men's shoes would fit in here, but women's shoes for sure, for sure. I find this to be a helpful size box to have on hand. Like I said, I like it. I use it. This is the Region A. Just to give you a little comparison here, this is the Region A. This is the Region B. Both of these are top loading. You can see the size difference. Although most times there's not that much of a price difference. Just to clarify, because I don't think I mentioned this part, with the Region A, you can ship up to 15 pounds in this box, and you're actually shipping at like some lower pound weight, but up to 15 pounds in this box. In the Region B, you can ship up to 20 pounds in this box at, you know, the lower rate. So those are pretty awesome. Another thing that I sometimes will order with my eBay coupon is these 10 by 8 by 6 boxes. I'm trying to see what's similar to this. 10 by 8 by 6. This is almost the same size as one of the top loading Region A's, and I like those. I really do. But sometimes you have a lighter weight item that honestly doesn't need to go priority. If somebody has something that they are insisting that you send first class, and it's like one of those puffy, like say a puffer vest, because I shipped one of those out recently, and it's not going to weigh a ton, you can use one of these and ship it first class. If it weighs under 16 ounces, you can ship it first class. I have these eBay boxes on hand. I use my store coupon to get them. I don't use a ton of them, but I like the size. So the number one reason that I wanted to shoot this video is I had a subscriber ask me about shipping large items when I was talking about electronics. The reason I talked about the box resizer in my group recently is that I use a ton of these. As you can see, it's pretty big. These are 18 by 14 by 12. And these are the eBay branded cardboard boxes. I find them to be a really nice quality box. And this coming from somebody who's actually paid for boxes at a few different places. This is pretty huge. So, you can see the height of this box. 18 by 14 by 12. And if you are using your box resizer, this thing, you hold the box resizer, you put this at the top of the box, and you literally just roll. You roll, and then you have nice perforated lines, and then you fold those down and you end up with a perfect box. So yeah, I like to have these, the big eBay boxes on hand, because I find them to be super useful. And I'm looking around. I don't think I have anything else to show you guys, except for possibly the last thing right in front of me that I used my eBay coupon for, tape. I have so much eBay tape and I love it. This time I got the yellow and the blue and the purple, and I'm pretty excited about it. And people often ask me, I get this a lot on the YouTube channel, how much does eBay pay you to advertise for them? Well, obviously I don't have any kind of endorsement deal with eBay. I wish I did. eBay, if you want to pay us to hit me up, I mean, we can talk. I don't have any kind of deal with them. But like I said, I have been making really decent, respectable money on eBay for the past 3-4 years. So I have no problem using eBay branded supplies. I love when I'm watching TV and I see an eBay commercial. I feel really connected to that. I feel like those commercials are for people like me. And I've never had an issue where eBay made me feel that we weren't on the same team. So yeah, I advertise for eBay in the sense that I use eBay branded supplies, and I want my customers to know that when they get home and they see the box, that it's from eBay. And people say, well, why would you invite thieves? Really? Because if I was a thief and I was about to go out and steal something, I am not checking for nobody's eBay box. This even reminds me of sometimes when I'm supervising the mail process downstairs in my building. People would get things from eBay and I kind of wonder what it is, but it's never like, oh, that must be something super rare and expensive. Like, that's just not what people think about eBay. Even though there's super rare and expensive things on there, that's not the reputation of the website. So I don't worry about people seeing an eBay package or an eBay sticker or an eBay box and feeling like stealing it. I do not feel that it increases opportunities for theft in any way, any shape, any form, any fashion. I don't believe that. So yes, I use eBay branded shipping supplies. On that note, I hope this answers some questions, especially about the region boxes. Like I said, the padded flat rate envelopes, the USPS shoe boxes, the region boxes, the flat rate boxes. You can get all of those for free at USPS.com. Set up your account, write down your password, and if you need to, set yourself a reminder so you don't run out of things that are going to cost you money. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any more ideas on videos, things you want to see, let me know and I'll be sure to get to those as soon as I can. I hope you guys are having a great fourth quarter, and if I do not make another video before Monday, have a Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.